One quiet evening, after a long day of work, a young man named Alex sat by the window of a small cafe, watching the city lights slowly appear as the sun went down, and he decided that this night would be different because he was tired of understanding English but never feeling confident enough to speak it out loud. So he opened his notebook, took a deep breath, and promised himself that he would start learning not perfectly, but consistently, one small step at a time, without fear of making mistakes or sounding strange. At first, the words felt heavy in his mouth, and even simple sentences sounded awkward, yet he remembered something important. Children learn by speaking badly before they speak well, so why should adults expect magic? And with that thought he began reading short stories, listening carefully to how words connected to each other, noticing patterns instead of rules, and slowly his brain stopped translating everything into his own language and started accepting English as it was, simple, alive, and surprisingly friendly. Every evening became a small ritual for Alex, a cup of coffee, a calm background sound, and a single goal, not to learn everything, but to understand one idea clearly, such as how past and present change meaning, or why native speakers use short phrases instead of long sentences. And as days passed, he realized that repetition was not boring anymore, because each time he repeated something, it felt lighter, smoother, and closer to being natural. One night, while listening to an English story, Alex suddenly noticed that he understood the feeling of the sentence before the words themselves, and this moment shocked him, because it meant his brain was adapting, building new paths quietly in the background, and from that point on, he stopped asking when he would be fluent, and instead focused on showing up daily, trusting the process, even on days when motivation was low and progress felt invisible. As weeks turned into months, Alex began using English in small real moments, ordering coffee, writing short comments online, and even talking to himself during walks, and although mistakes still appeared, they no longer stopped him, because he finally understood that fluency is not the absence of errors, but the courage to continue speaking despite them, and this mindset changed not only his English, but also the way he approached learning anything new in life. One afternoon, a friend noticed Alex watching a video in English without subtitles and asked how he learned so well, and Alex smiled, because the answer was simple but powerful. He stopped chasing speed, stopped comparing himself to others, and built a habit that respected his brain, allowing time, patience, and exposure to do their work naturally, just like learning to walk or swim, without pressure, without fear, and without unrealistic expectations. Looking back, Alex realized that the hardest part was not grammar or vocabulary, but starting, and once he crossed that invisible line, everything else followed step by step, and now, whenever he sits by the window with the city lights glowing outside, he no longer studies English to escape his reality, but to expand it, knowing that every word he learns opens a new door to understanding people, cultures, and stories beyond his own world.